Hi everyone, happy Halloween and welcome to Paper and Light, the YouTube channel about movie posters. The leaves are falling, it's rainy and dark and gloomy outside, perfect for spooky movies. Woo! And today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite horror films from the early 2000s, The Ring. 2002's The Ring, an American remake of the 1998 Japanese film Ringu, or The Ring, or just Ring. It had a few North American titles, which was based off the novel Ring by Japanese author Koji Suzuki. My poster for this film is an international double-sided one-sheet. You can tell it's an international poster because there's no rating for the film or release date. It measures 26 3/4 inches by 40 inches, or roughly 68 centimeters by 101.5 centimeters. And I bought it from emovieposter.com way back in July of 2012 for $9 whole American dollars. Wow, $9. How much would that be worth now?
$900 dues!
So I have a bizarre memory of the marketing for this film. Back in 2002, I was watching some late night TV, probably some art film on Showcase, and this video comes on. And it was creepy and weird, just random bizarre imagery and frenetic cuts and screeching noises.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
And that was it. There wasn't even any mention of a movie. I just sat there, flabbergasted. Flabbergasted. That's a great word. The Ring is a psychological horror film that, on paper at least, should not work. Just like showing random clips of the movie late at night without any context should not work. The premise, simply put, is f***ing stupid. You watch a VHS tape, and then a mysterious voice calls you, usually on your old rotary phone, and lets you know that you have 7 days until you die.
At first it seems implausible, like this is ridiculous. There's nothing more to it than a couple of teenagers and urban myths, basically.
No, it's ridiculous. Here's my favorite scene. Bring, bring. Hello?
It's a metaphor for addiction to technology.
This is the cinematic equivalent of forward this email to 10 people or you'll be cursed.
This is not a joke. You are now cursed.
I'd say we're f***ed. This light box has cursed us.
And yet, somehow this works. The movie not only embraces the goofiness, but manages to transcend it. The opening 20 minutes feels like standard slasher fare, with young teens getting mysteriously murdered and talking about it, oddly.
It's about the tape.
There's schoolgirl outfits and jump scares and faces that look like that Come to Daddy music video. But there's a key moment where, for me, this movie really takes a turn to something a lot more sinister. And that's when the first victim is revealed in her bedroom closet. I'm not gonna spoil it for you here if you haven't seen it. It's wild. If you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. The Ring was directed by Gore Verbinski, this up-and-coming, passionate director with a keen eye for striking visuals. He even directed that Budweiser Frogs commercial. Some movies are made, and some movies are crafted. And to me, this feels like a precisely crafted film. Verbinski and his team put a lot of thought and care into how to present this story with atmosphere and dread. The whole film is drenched in this aqua greenish blue hue, almost like you're underwater. And almost every scene takes place during the day, in this perpetual rainy Monday afternoon. This feels like an art house film as much as it feels like a studio horror movie. There's the imagery of the haunted tape, which is still highly effective whenever it's on screen. I would know, I had to watch it like 25 times when I made this video. It's still creepy. Then there's the production design, which designer Tom Duffield based on the paintings of Andrew Wyeth. The set department actually built this beautiful Japanese maple tree out of plaster and silk and named it Lucille after red-haired actress Lucille Ball.
Anyway, how's your sex life?
Apparently, the fruit of a Japanese maple tree is called a samara, which is the name of the little girl who does all the haunting and VHS duplication. Sound design and cinematography are incredible, and then there's the editing. Top tier. Often with major films, there's several editors involved. Some of them specialize in action, others dialogue. This movie was edited by one person, Craig Wood, and he appears to be the editor on all of Gore Verbinski's films. The entire movie is tethered to the performance of Naomi Watts. The silliness of the premise really dissolves away when she's on screen. The young actor playing her son, David Dorfman, gives a real eerie quality to his scenes. He doesn't call his mother Mom, he calls her Rachel.
Good night, Rachel.
It's not explained, and I'm glad it's not explained. It's just this little peek into what appears to be a strained mother-son relationship. Rachel begins to investigate the haunted VHS tape and its origins. Cinematographer Bohan Bazelli, as well as the rest of the crew, really add a lot of interesting visual cues that all tie back to the haunted VHS tape. For example, there's no opening title, just the ring itself that briefly appears. Before you die, you see the ring. An elementary school teacher wears a shirt with horses on it. Horses end up being a recurring theme. The ring also appears after an accident with a horse. Before you die, you see the ring. Rachel relaxes with a nice magazine. Before you die, you see the ring. There are lighthouses and mirrors everywhere. Before you die, you see the ring. Ladders, hair, VHS tapes. Ooh, Shrek, Papa Roach. The plot itself is circular. You see the tape, you pass it on, or you die. They see the tape, they pass it on, or they die. Over and over and over, etc. Before you die, you see the ring. Oh, excuse me.
Excuse me, Mr. Morgan. I was wondering if you'd have a moment to speak with me.
F*** off. In looking through the IMDb trivia for this film, I came across one particular point of interest. Since the release of The Ring in Canada, the story of the cursed video has become very popular in some provinces. And the story is passed by kids in school as a rumor that it actually happened. Okay, look, fellow Canadians, don't add trivia to movies like this. It makes us look bad. Apparently before the release of this film, the studio would bring copies of the cursed tape and leave them on vehicles outside concerts and movie theaters. The short video ended with a website URL, which was a blog post of sorts written by a character that ended up being cut from the film. He was played by actor Chris Cooper, and he does make a very short appearance in a newspaper article. That must have freaked people the f*** out. The Ring was both a critical and financial success, grossing $249.3 million on a production budget of $48 million. It really ushered in the era of American remakes of Asian horror films, including the Grudge series, Dark Water, The Eye, Pulse, and One Missed Call. Gore Verbinski would follow this up with possibly the greatest adventure film of the 2000s so far. This particular one-sheet design appears to be the only one they really made for the theatrical run of The Ring in North America. It was designed by InSync Plus, a Los Angeles-based design firm that specializes in film releases. Did they use the one-sheet design for the home video releases? Let's take a look. So the first home video release was VHS, which is only fitting that The Ring would come out on VHS, of course. I really like this design they use for the case with the well and screaming Naomi Watts. Later, they released it on this limited edition clear case, which I love. Also, when you rewound this tape and played it from the very beginning, it actually starts with the cursed video. Such a nice touch, and it ends with a phone ringing sound effect after the video plays, which is fantastic. Next came DVD, of course, and I really hate this here in Canada when they release stuff and it had to have The Ring and then the title in French on the same spine. That always drove me nuts because it just becomes kind of visual messiness. I'm obviously a big design person and I can't stand this. I understand the need for having a French version. I think that's great. I don't understand why it all has to be on one when a slipcase that went over this could have very easily had The Ring on one side and Le Cirque on the other. I don't know if that's down to the studios cheaping out or what, but they did release it without that. So to me, this is much, much cleaner. The French Canadians might come for me here, but I don't like having both titles on the same spine. Next up, we have The Ring on Blu-ray. It feels a little bit more colorful. The blue case actually kind of adds to it, I think. Okay, next up we have the CD soundtrack. Fairly nice design. Uses artwork from the second movie mostly, which I think it's only right to do. It's stronger than the first one. This is nice. There's a little something under the disc. Something peeking out of there. Oh, I like that. That's a nice touch. Kind of making you discover it. That's really cool. And finally, we have the soundtrack on vinyl. Look at this. I haven't opened this yet. It integrates a lot of different elements here. There's the central ring, and then there's this eye. That really kind of catches the vibe of the movie. Let's open this up here. That is really nice. Let's see. Oh, okay. That's really cool. That must be a lift from the movie, and they've kind of added this interesting texture to it. That's really nice. Wow. Oh, a little message from the director here. So place the needle into that black licorice on this 20-year anniversary rarity. Let it take you on that journey in the way vinyl speaks only to those privileged audiophiles who can appreciate its sonic fidelity. And ask yourself, why are we compelled? What is it about this music that makes us feel the siren's call of Samara? Gore Verbinski. Wow! Okay, I think it's safe to say Mr. Verbinski collects vinyl. Pretty safe to say at this point. Here we go. This would have been a better poster right there. There's a hint of color. There's more to the composition going on. That right there would have been a better poster. If we're talking about physical media for this movie, this is it. This is just beautiful. Until there's a really nice 4K version out there, this is absolutely gorgeous. Wow. So what do I think about this poster? What is the art score?
We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
A is for aesthetics. How good is the design? How pleasing is the typography, the overall visuals, and the vibe of the poster? Basically, is it nice to look at? The typography here, I think, is a bit of a distraction from the central image. I like the hand-drawn, creepy effect for the ring. I just wish it wasn't central. I wish it was below the ring itself. And the text on the tagline to me feels very 90s. It kind of reminds me of the opening titles for the 1996 film Scream. For aesthetics, I give this a 2 out of 3. R is for representation. Does it represent the film very well? Does it match the look and feel and the ideas it's presenting? Is there a sense of story? For representation, I do think that this ring image does represent one of the central themes, but this movie is so colorful, and that color is used to great effect to kind of create these images of dread and angst. This black and white image, I think, kind of falls short of that. It only gives a very specific peek into a very specific part of the movie, and the rest is a little bit lost. For representation, I'm gonna give this a 1 out of 3. T is for titillation. Does this poster inspire any excitement or intrigue? Does it make us want to watch the movie? For titillation, I think this really embraced that late night TV marketing scheme of only teasing out certain little bits of information. You kind of just have to ask yourself, what is the ring and why am I gonna die when I see it? For titillation, I give this a 2 out of 3. Okay, so with a current art score of 5 out of 10, this poster falls short of the film itself. But what of the wife point? What did she think? Okay, 5 out of 10 it is. It's a solid, if not wholly remarkable, movie poster. Not exactly a big surprise that when it came to marketing the film for VHS and DVD, they went with a completely new design. Now there's color, there's more creepy elements from the film like this well, the VHS sort of static effect, and this visceral image of Naomi Watts is very striking. Let's see if we can screen match it to the movie. There we go. Good art makes you feel, and this poster makes me feel somewhat passive. I think there's just not enough going on. This movie has a real vibe to it. It's the kind of movie that I think about when it's 2 a.m. and I drank too much water before bed and I have to get up and slowly crawl my way to the bathroom in the dark. What is that over there? What's that noise? I know no one is gonna crawl out of my CRT television to get me, but somehow that premise feels a little less ridiculous in the dark. Well, thanks everyone for watching. I believe any good collection needs to be shared, so for this episode, I'm going to be giving away 2 posters. The first is the video release poster for this movie, which I think is far superior to the theatrical poster. I'm also going to be throwing in the poster for the sequel, The Ring 2, which I also think is a superior design, if an inferior sequel. If you want a chance to win these posters, all you have to do is sign up for my Patreon, the link to which will be in the description box below. We do major giveaways with each episode, and we're going to be shipping worldwide. I really appreciate the support, and it goes towards getting even more interesting posters to feature on this channel. Well, thanks everyone. I hope you have a spooky, scary, sexy Halloween. I'll see you in the next episode, and I can't wait to show you more.